we were talking about, we started, what is the ego? So the ego basically is an instrument. So there's many people define ego in different ways. We're going to stick to the definition, how the knowledge is and the sages brought it. Because the difference when the sages brought the knowledge, it's not emotional. It's really clean. Then people share truth, parts of the knowledge, and then suddenly they bring all kind of different terminologies, which tend to make it much more humanized, emotional, more for people to work on particular stories.
And complicated.
And make it complicated.
Yeah.
And make the journey for Maya more emotional. Instead of her climbing straight up, be happy.
Be happy. Yeah.
Because when she moves into the knowledge, she's happy.
Yeah.
Like he was reflecting on these 3 sentences, or when I reflect on these 3 sentences, right away happiness being start to illuminating, more light. There's like Maya, she's staying around the knowledge, she's thinking about the truth, she's already start being happy.
Yeah.
Because she's like on the way back to me.
Yeah.
So it's like if a child lost his father or the mother and he sees her, he is running to her. He's running to him happily. So that's what happens when Maya awakens, the knowledge aspect of her. She is so fast returning back to me. This is why the returning can be in an instant for her, because it's just a thought for her to disappear into me. It's not like she has to walk, she has no legs. It's just one thought. Yet that thought has to be really close to the light. Otherwise, when the thought goes out, it's more and more dark. More and more dark means becomes more and more dense, heavy, dense. Object obstructs the light. Yeah, that's what happens. Heavy clouds, dark. They veil the sun. Yeah, the less. Or today I heard you say, I didn't even look. You said the sky is clear. So when it's completely clear for Maya, the sun illuminates. Now I am the sun. I never was anything other than the sun. So I am shining in its full glory, they say. And Maya is getting full illumination, so she is suddenly transparent. She dissolves instantaneously. This is why keep contemplating about these 3, because these 3 will have so much wisdom. There is so much wisdom inside it. So when Maya is using the buddhi to contemplate of these 3 sentences, basically now she becomes knowledge, she becomes transparent. She merges into yourself, which is absolute knowledge.
The truth frees you.
Yes. The truth.
And the truth need to be, in order to see the truth, need light. You see something in the dark you can't see.
Hey,
that's a flash. So
turn on the light behind you.
So we go back. The buddhi and the ego is actually the same instrument. So it's like, it's a one instrument. It has like a coin with 2 sides. Okay? The side that it is close to the witness it gets the first reflection. That means the light of the witness falls on the buddhi.
Yes.
Like the sunlight falls, let's say, on a tree.
Cloud.
Or in a tree. Cloud is good. It falls on the cloud.
Yes.
And then as the light goes through the cloud, suddenly it's the ego underneath.
Yes.
It's all start being dark.
Yes.
Shade, shadow, dark.
Yes.
Yes? So it's nice analogy, thank you. It's the cloud. that has two sides, yes? So when Maya comes out, she veils Brahman, which is the source, the source of light. Once she veils it, that Brahman reduced itself, was reduced. The light of it was reduced to a witness. It's the same Brahman, just the light was reduced. Now, because Maya is an appearance, she projects the Buddhi. She projects it. Once she projects it, the Buddhi and the ego is the same. Yet from her projection, she just veiled now the witness. Yes?
The question I would have, why did she project, why did she need the Buddhi to produce the universe?
Okay, so now that's, in a moment I give the answer, okay? Once she projects the Buddhi, she veils the witness.
Yes.
Now she is going inward through the Buddhi, yeah? Because once she projects, she's in it.
Yes.
Now she goes through, she projects the ego, she moves into it, and she's using the ego to go through the senses to external gross universe. So why would she want to do it? Because when Maya comes out, she comes out as a tree. Just for the analogy, this is why Nagaraj brought it this way. Comes out as a tree, and that tree split to two branches. The first branch of Maya, that's why Maya has two powers. Now Nagaraj saw this exactly in the seer and the seen. So when we open the seer and the seen, we will see that this is what the sage actually saw, that Maya does, what powers she used. That's why he says Maya has two powers. So one power, she veiled Brahman, the source, right? The moment she veiled it, she instantaneously manifested the whole universe upon it. That's one branch. Now, once she veiled the whole universe, she veiled the source, and she manifests the whole universe. Now, she's using the Buddhi and the ego to go through the senses to the external gross universe in order for her to look for the source.
So, okay. So she did that well, that's a funny way of looking at it, because that branch is actually, she created that to find herself.
That's right. She's creating this to find the source. The thing is, out of ignorance, she veiled the source. Once she veiled the source, instantaneously she created the whole universe with her power. Once she created the whole universe, she now looking for the source in her creation. This is the Maya story. So now, how would she look for the source in her creation? She projects the Buddhi, and then she projects the ego. She moves into the ego. So the ego is always going out. So the ego goes out. She goes out through the ego because it is an instrument for her. Through the senses into the external gross universe. Yeah? So she basically, because she is subtle, she wanted to find and experience the source. So she manifested the whole universe, and she's going into the object, which is into the body. How she goes into the body? She used an instrument, and that's an ego. It's called an ego. That ego is just an instrument for her to go through the senses to the external gross universe. What happens once she uses the ego? Maya itself becomes ignorant. Once she starts to use the Buddhi, she becomes knowledge. The Buddhi always get her to go in. The ego always gets her to go out through the senses to the external gross universe. Yeah? It's the same instrument, the same cloud, that now the sun, if it's, let's say, from the top, when we fly and we get above the clouds, it's always light. And then as the planes start going down below the clouds, as it's going in the clouds already, let's obstruct the light. And then suddenly you go below the clouds, it's really dark. Can be a stormy day, really dark, really cold. This is where she moved to ego, through the Buddhist. So she veils the source, then the source becomes the witness. From the witness she projects the Buddhi, she veils the witness now. So once she veils the witness, the Buddhi appeared to be the witness. Now she projects the ego, she veils the Buddhi, so the ego appears to be the witness. This is how ignorance is. So ignorance was first veiling the source, and now when she moves into the ego, ignorance moved into the ego. That means ego identifies itself as the witness, as the source. This is ignorance, and this is going to be removed by knowledge. Now when she moved into the ego, that means she's in total ignorance. Now in ignorance, she goes out through the senses and go to the external gross universe. Now, through the body, she identifies with the body. So the ego identifies with two things. It identifies with the witness out of ignorance. It identifies with the body due to ignorance. Now it generates karma. Due to ignorance, now Maya takes action through the body, and she generates karma for herself. Why? She starts to collect lots of residual impressions from the waking state going into her.
And she won't.
Yeah, and she won't now. What she want? She want to find who I am. So she generates lots of desires. Yet now, because the ego, out of ignorance, is identifying with the body, in the body she starts to experience pleasure and pain. So she wants pleasure, she avoids pain. So now she's moving through the body. She's like, I want this object, I don't want that object. I want this sensation, I don't want that sensation. Now, through that instrument, due to identification with the body, she is forming a personality with the gunas. Qualities. Now she's starting to say, she is having, in the gunas, there are different qualities.
And the Buddhi acts as the witness.
Now the Buddhi acts as the witness, when the truth is, it's the ego and the witness look to be the same, identical.
Then that's why we don't ask any questions.
So what happens, the witness was reduced to jiva. So that's why they said, when it is identification with the ego, so the ego identify with the witness, so it's identify with the jiva, parallel. When Maya moves in using the Buddhi and using the knowledge, then the identification of the ego is removed, so the identification with the jiva is removed, so now there is the witness. Because now, basically when she used the Buddhi, she becomes knowledge, so also the veil between the witness and the Buddhi is removed.
Because all this process of discrimination is being witnessing.
Yes.
It means
so now she's closer to the witness. Yes?
Yes.
So when basically there's Maya, and Maya is an illusion. She is an appearance. Yet once she veiled the source, she identifies herself. She is identifying herself to be the witness, to be the source. she reduced herself out of ignorance to a body through the ego. So now she identifies, basically the ego identifies, which is Maya, Maya ignorance, identify as the witness, as the source, that's with the jiva, and she identifies herself with the body,
At the same
which
time.
generates karma.
Right.
So for liberation, two things have to be removed. One, karma has to be stopped. The second, the ignorance has to be removed. So how karma is stopped? When Maya goes in. She doesn't take action to the external gross universe. She goes in. So all her desires to the external gross universe are falling away because she has one desire. She wants to return back to who I am. So she gives up all her desires. Then the karma is stopped. Now the karma that is stored comes out into the surface as residual impressions, and she's using the buddhi. That's how she becomes knowledge to discriminate this residual. So basically no accumulation of karma, that's one is finished.
Right.
With knowledge she goes in, right? So that's one is finished. Now what removes the ignorance is knowledge, because she is using the buddhi, which is before the ego. So she's using the buddhi. The more she discriminates and concentrate and contemplate and inquire with the buddhi, she becomes knowledge. Meanwhile, she removes the ignorance. When the ignorance is removed, that's liberation.
Yeah.
She's liberated. Gone, finished.
So
Then she basically merges into the witness. Now there's nothing for the witness to see, because she doesn't appear. It is absorbed into Brahman. This is the journey for her, for liberation.
Few little moves.
You could